Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Times Radical. Today, on this episode, we're doing another Seiko mod. This is an Explorer 2 style mod, reminiscent of the Black Bay Pro. So if you're interested in getting into some modification watches and maybe building your own Black Bay Pro style Seiko, then this is something for you to watch. This is about a 5-hour build, and there's some complications that come up that this addresses. In this episode, we modify the dial, we pressure test the case, we custom fit the hands, we size the stem, the bracelet, and timing adjustments. So let's jump right into this episode of Times Radical. And thank you so much for watching and supporting this channel. So we have this Explorer case here. It's kind of like a 58, Tudor 58 look with this Tudor style riveted bracelet. And we'll be going through this entire thing. Spring bars, end pieces. So we have case, bracelet. The dial I want to use is from Tokay Lab, as well as the GMT hands I'll be using. The movement I'm going to be using here is the Seiko NH34 with the black date disc. You can get these from Namoki. I'm also doing plenty other mods using Namoki cases, bracelets, Tokay Lab dial and hands. I'm also getting cases and bracelets from AliExpress. So I do have a 5% discount for NAMOKIMODS if you're interested in doing some of these mods yourself. Times Radical 5 is my discount, so it'll help the channel if you use my link, and it'll help you save some dollars if you use the Times Radical 5 discount. These can get quite expensive. So let's put all these components together and see if we can create a Seiko Explorer 2 Black Bay 58 style mod. Okay, so let's get into everything that you're gonna need for doing one of these mods. Movement, NH34 GMT movement, movement holder, set it aside. We're going to use this case. Let's take a look at it. Super cool bezel. I love the refinishing. I can do this type of finishing on Rolex Explorers, so I kind of appreciate it. I would like to add a bigger bevel on some of these watches, so I would modify this myself. Maybe later I'll do a video where I remove the bezel and give this bezel an extra bevel. So movement, case, bracelet, end pieces, spring bars, the dial from Tokay Lab. I'm super impressed with these. I really like the look. And I got one right here. And it is so clean. And this case is from Namoki. It's kind of like a dirty dozen. Use the case knife, open up this package. Whew, now I only bought components to build one of these, so I don't want to ruin anything. But that dial is nice. And let's see how these dial feet look. And this comes with the 2 dial feet, 2 sets. So we gotta make sure that we have the pin vise and we can remove the dial feet that we don't need. Next, we have the hands. Clap your hands for these hands, because these are done really well. Nice Tudor snowflake hands. When I put them onto this watch, hands were really tight, so it's good to have some hand brooches. You have your cutting brooches with the 5 sides, smoothing brooches for smoothing. Sometimes you want to cut them and then smooth them. Other times the cutting is a little unnecessary. Pithwood, smoothing brooch, hand pullers, hand pushers, tweezers, pin vise. Bench mat, you want a loop and some Rodico, and that's pretty much all you need to get one of these mods done. You want a case back opener and closer and pressure tester if you really want to see how these go, but we'll be pressure testing this watch for sure. But right now, let's get these dial and hands onto the movement. So let's see which dial feet we need to remove. Right here in the case ring, or in the movement ring, we have the hole for the dial feet there and there. And we're gonna have the dial at 3 o'clock, the date at 3 o'clock, and we can see which dial feet we need to keep. So we're gonna keep this dial foot and remove that one. Now you want to put your pin vise around the dial foot that you want to remove. And there's always something going on outside in the Bay Area. Boom. Give it a twist. Dial foot comes off nice and clean. Now we can untwist. And you might even want to save these dial feet in case they come in handy for another project. Little tiny pin. Who knows? Maybe even lose a dial foot and you need to solder a new one on. So now we'll line up the other one. And you can see we're going to want to keep this one and remove that one. So tighten that up. Give it a nice twist. Boom, came off. These dowel feet were on strong. Okay. Wow. Now this fit isn't as good as I would have hoped. So we're gonna have to get a closer look. File the dial feet. Maybe. Oh man, I think the problem isn't the dial feet. The problem is the center hole in the dial. So that's tough. That is a hang up. But we're not going to let it stop us today. Because we got cutting broaches. Wow. What a trip, huh? But these cutting broaches, they're no good. They're too small. So we're gonna have to rig something together. An unexpected, but let's expect the unexpected more often because, you know, I want this dial. And maybe that's something that I needed to look more carefully in when ordering. So we're all learning here, you know. So I'll show you what I'm going to do to set this up. Because I would really like to use this dial, really like to make this project work. And in order to do so, we're going to use a sight set. Okay, so we're going to have to use the sight set to open up that center hole in the dial. And I just checked with the Tokay Lab and it looks like that's the size they sell. And I have these reamers. That's what we're going to use to cut open the hole. Going to want to keep it nice and centered. And I'm also going to be using the Fratelli Bonelli Cremona made staking set. I'm going to use this stake, this centering punch, this base, this stump, and one of these mini reamers. So let's measure which reamer we need, huh? This is actually a great project right now. I just had some hang-ups with a Seiko Royal Oak mod I wanted to do. So we're gonna measure this hour wheel here. It's 2 millimeters, 2.21 millimeters. So we have the 2 millimeter measurement there, and then the 0.21 here. Now we're going to see which reamer fits that. Okay, so this one here is 2.6. This reamer here, 2.4. And we're gonna need some room. That hole needs to be a little bit bigger than the hour wheel, because we also need the hour hand to slip through that center hole in the dial with room to spare on the side. We don't want this hand rubbing on the inside of that dial. Pulling the hand out, and we're gonna measure the outside of the diameter of this hand's hub. And this hand's hub is actually 2.4. So this 2.4 reamer is going to be a little bit too small. So we're gonna use the 2.6. That'll give us a little bit of room on each side of the hand. So now that we have the reamer, but this reamer might not be the one that we need to start with. This is the reamer we need to end with. Or we can totally start with this reamer and just take it easy all the way through. So we're gonna take this, use this stake. Stake is a little small. We're gonna be using this stake. The reamer friction fits right in there. We can put our calipers away. Let's put our hand away. I mean, you can see how much work goes into some of this stuff when it doesn't go right. Now, we have our base. Our reamer attached to the stake. Our centering stake. And we can put the sights set away for now, because we're only using the reamer and the stump. Okay, so let's center centering stake right here. Actually, that's not even the centering stake. But just because it's not the centering stake doesn't mean it's not going to work. So I'm going to push it through. I'm going to loosen this here. Hold it down. And this has a little, we can tighten the top here. Make sure that the stake doesn't move. And then we tighten here. And this hand screwed piece on the side tightens down the base. We can loosen this and pull out our centering stake. So now the base is tight and it's lined up perfectly with this set. Now the reamer is gonna be able to go right through center. We have this stump, which we can get started with. Just to keep the dial up. And we're going to start cutting. So this is quite the situation. Going to keep the dial as steady as possible. I'm going to cut very light. Make sure I'm going to puff away debris. As well as adding a little bit of oil to the cutting edge of the reamer. Now there's going to be a little oil on the dial, but you know, you can just take that off later. Since the dial shifts a little bit, we can also turn the dial every so often. Now, I'm putting downward pressure as I turn. And we're cleaning that swarf off of the cutting tool. But this is how you get creative, you know. Watchmaking, there's technical rules, but there's also problem solving. So this is part of the problem solving. Now it's getting sticky, so I'm going to clean the tool and add more oil. Add a little bit all around. See, you have your cutting angle here and your relief angle here. And we have a long way to go. So thanks for sticking with me. And if you made it this far, you might want to subscribe to the channel. It'll help out a lot. I want to get one of those silver play buttons. 100,000 subscribers I'm going to need. So I think at this point, I only need 985,000 more subscribers. So every sub counts. And if you ever want something serviced, I can do Rolex and ETA stuff. I'm also familiar with the replica watches servicing as well. Can do movement swaps, dial swaps. I can build you Seiko mod. And keep that in mind if you have a party, you want to give a gift to your friends, do a whole batch order for your bachelor party. But I do like how this is turning out. Pretty clean, actually. You can tell by the shape of the swarf coming off. It's a very sharp cutter. It's cutting very evenly. The dial is getting a little bit messy with oil, but we're going to clean that up later. Right now we just need to make sure that all this stuff fits. You know, I got into this watch servicing as a profession because I thought it was pretty cool. Okay, so it looks like I'm going so far into the dial that I'm touching the base of this stump. So we're gonna have to get a new stump. Can accommodate the reamer. This one's pretty good. It's a little bit more deep. Might not be deep enough, but we can see how far this one will take us. Then we're gonna have to get creative again. Ooh. The reamer is slipping in the stake. We're only 20 minutes into this mod and we haven't even put the dial on the movement yet. But yeah, I got into the watch repair servicing from my uncle. And that's been great. I've been seeing a lot of hobby guys on YouTube, and I thought, this is cool. It's a little bit more fun. Wow. This is tough. The reamer is slipping. Maybe we'll put the smaller one in right now just to get us through. Okay, so small one's too small now. Yep. We're just getting a lot of friction in the diameter of the dial now because it's so wide. So maybe we can take off a little bit of the material. With the wider one. This wider one's dangerous. We can actually turn the dial. Oh, no fun, no fun. Making a mess. We want a nice clean job here too. I don't want to be making a mess. We're in a tough spot. We're in a tough spot with this mod. So we're going to force it in. Push it down harder. I don't want this reamer moving. Just going to clean up the backside a little bit. Yeah, we're getting some facets. Try and smooth out this hole here. Yeah. Right there is where we're getting stuck. Yeah, here's smooth, and then boom, it's stuck right there. Now you can see we've opened up that hole quite a bit. Challenging. The inside's a little bit more smooth. So continue on. Oil. Man's best friend. Oh, we're almost there. We're there. We're practically there. Look at that. We're almost basically there, right when it's started to give us a little trouble. Oh, we made it. We made it. Okay. Thanks for hanging in there. We made it. Pretty clean too. Clean up the backside. Now there's a little bit of a raised burr on the top of it, but we can deal with that. Dowel's clean, no grease. So let's deal with that burr. We have a little 3-sided stake here. Those 3 sides can cut the burr away. But here's a bigger one, so that's a little better. Let's do it on the staking set, just to be proper. But you could see the burr is already lifting off. Burr is lifting off right there. So we're on the right track. To do a nice clean job. Could almost just peel it away. Can't give up. You can't give up in life. You got to keep going. And if you make a decision and it doesn't work out, you can always adjust. It's better to make a decision so you keep moving forward and adjust along the way will set you in the right direction. So you can see that burr is lifting. And we have a nice, smooth bevel. Very pretty. So I like that. That looks amazing. And that should be the perfect size for that hand to fit on. So let's set this dial aside and move our things over. And we can see if this fits the movement now. So we're back to our regular scheduled programming. We've opened up the hole. We've removed the burr on the top. We can remove some of that. There's less of a burr on the bottom, but we can still scrape it off a little bit. There's still a little bit. No burrs. It looks so clean, looks so clean. I'm glad we got a little hang up. You don't want this stuff to be too easy, or else it's not worth watching. Yeah. And look at how well that fits. We're a little off center. So we might have to open her up a little bit more, huh? Take a look with this loop. Yeah, we're a little off center there. Okay, so I had to make a little reference to where we're off. We're off around 10 o'clock. So we're gonna have to cut. I have to keep cutting, but around 10 o'clock. Do a little angle on this side now, huh? Now we deburr. A little more cut. Still looking good. No misfortunes so far with this project. So let's see how we're getting away with it now, huh? Say a little better. Not quite there yet. Actually, that's looking pretty good. That might work, you know, that might work. Let's see how far this hand goes down. Definitely don't want to be making a mistake. Okay, let's give it a try. There's only one way to find out. So we'll remove the dial. So we do, this movement is actually super cool. NH34, you got winding position, setting position, quick set. You can quick set the hour, set it individually, and then you quick set the date. Then pull one more out and you're turning the hand. So let's watch this date go around. I'm gonna see the date disc is beginning to advance. we'll let it do a full jump. There we go. So that's midnight. So now we're going to put our dial on, our freshly broached out dial. We're going to take our hand and because we're doing a GMT, we have 4 hands. I need to put a wider tip. Because this tip just goes right through the hand. Gotta have your GMT tip. And this one should be good enough. This is the Horotech. I'm not using the stand for this, but it's okay. All right, so let's place that hand on. And now this hand might even have to be broached out, you know. Just gonna grab it like that. I'm gonna be very careful. I'm gonna put this hand right at 12 o'clock. Now, these factory hands are typically very tight, so we might have to broach it out. That's a little bit off, but let's see how far down it goes. Yeah, it's very tight on the hour wheel, but the hand, the hub of that hand isn't going to go too far down into the dial. And that's good. So far so good. The mod is looking clean, but we need to open this hand up. So I'm going to take the hand off. I'm going to open it up. Open it up just like this. Oh no. Oh no. This hand is big, huh? So in order to open this hand up, we're gonna do the same thing we did to open that dial up. But we're gonna have to use a more appropriate reamer. Because my brooches aren't big enough. Not the ones I have here. Maybe this is the brooch that will work. And this one will work. But we need to be very careful because we want this to be centered as well. So this mod isn't so easy, and it's a very special one. So I'm holding it very lightly. Just giving it a little twirl. And you know, it's probably just cutting the paint from the inside. So you can see some of that black paint on the hand. And that's probably the only thing keeping it super tight is the paint. So we clean the inside of that hand out. And boom. So let's fit this now. Would drop that hand right on there perfectly. That's a first. So now let's set it. Okay. Wow. Pressed on nice and firm. But we'll have to see. Let's see how that date changes. If it changes at midnight, then we're golden. If not, then we'll have to take the hand off and do it again. Not so perfect. There's not much room under there, but I really want this to be good, so I'm gonna clean up some of this mess, and we're gonna get right into setting these hands proper. Okay, so yeah, sometimes things don't quite go our way, but we can reset this hand. And I did find that this actually has a bushing that needs to go on top of the 24-hour wheel. So even though things haven't been going our way for this project and we're making do, I found out we have a missing part. So that's good. We'll have to size this stem later. And this dial bushing can come out right now. All right, so let's take this hand off. Get my loop on. Touchless method. You've seen it before, where I risked it all. Wow, and that hand is nicely fit. Okay, so we're going to remove the dial. Carefully, we've put in so much work on this thing already. Whoa. And we put our dial washer over that hour wheel. This keeps the hour wheel down so it doesn't lift and get out of alignment. Now we're going to make sure that we get this date jumping right at midnight, and we're going to reattach the hand. There's the date jump. Reinstall the dial. And now reinstall the hand. Now let's push this down nice and flat. Okay, so we pushed it down about halfway. It's actually almost all the way down. It's a little bit slanted, but it's adjustable. I'm gonna go all the way around to midnight, see this thing jump. See the half jump. Damn. Where did I go wrong? See, when you go slow, okay, so we're not in line. We're not in alignment. Yeah, that's okay, because we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there right now. Third time's a charm. That looks good right before midnight. I like that. Maybe there's just a little bit of slop. Maybe that's just part of this, part of the learning curve. That's better. That's way better. That's right on. It's a little too perfect, if you ask me. No, that's perfect. Right before midnight. But the hand is a little bit tilted, so we're gonna make sure we clean that up. Really nice, not touching the dial, straight, flat, pressed on flush. That's midnight. Let's do the hour hand. I have the fan going on. It's pretty hot in here. Now we might even have to broach this hour hand. Okay. We got to change the tip. And our hand pusher. And we'll see how this gets on there. Yeah, we're gonna have to broach this hand. Maybe, I don't know. We can see how aligned it is. Look at that, so cool. The alignment isn't perfect either, so. I mean, it's perfect in some positions. Like, that's great. That looks good too. And I like that. And that's a little bit off there. A little bit of slop. It's okay. No, we need to broach this hour hand out. Just a little bit. Smooth out some of that paint on the inside of the hand. Not too much though, I don't want to over broach it. Sometimes when I set the hour hand, I like to set it. So this would be like 12 noon. So we can try that. And that's pretty good right there. Okay, so let's see how we're looking here. It's a little behind. I'm proud of that 24-hour hand positioning. I'd like this hour hand to be just as successful. That's a little better. That's a little better there. 6 o'clock, 12 noon. We're a little bit behind on the hour, but it's okay. That's just about perfect. Now we get a nice date jump. And we're a little bit ahead on the hour, so a little bit behind on the hour in one spot, tiny bit ahead on another. Very nice in some other places. So this is good. The hand is level and flat. I just want to make sure that we have all our bases covered before we move on to the minute hand. Ah. That's okay, look at that. You know, Seiko mod, super cool. Like, Still very precise. You can see those divisions. There's plenty of room, even and level. Okay, so let's go around to midnight again, and we'll add the minute hand. I mean, this is great. Perfect. Okay. Minute hand, here we go. Out you go. This minute hand needs a little smoothing as well. Par for the course. So we get out an appropriate size. Smooth it out. Don't want to open it too much. But just enough. And yeah, it's a little different every time, you know? Yeah, it's pretty good though. I like that. I like that jump. And that looks super cool right there. All right. And this hand is very tight. And it might not be on exactly where we want it to be. Yeah. It's not so bad. Huh. I think we can do better. Let's try. The hand is still very tight. Broach it out a little more. Make sure it's clean. Now I could even set the minute hand up right here. (12 noon). And see how that goes. That dropped down pretty hard. But we're looking really good on the alignment. In some positions, or maybe it's the angle. So you can see the hand's pretty flat. It's right on top. I have to lift. This could be pretty stressful, so. Okay, so I just lifted. Gotta lift some more. But that looks good. Much better. So the alignment I've noticed is good in some positions, great in others, and not so good in some other places. Like this is perfect. Pretty much. And we come around here, and that's good too. Then we come around here. This is like perfect. So it's nice to flip it fast, but let's flip it slow. Maybe see? Now maybe the date is gonna change. That is like right on. And then this one's pretty right on also. The hour is a little behind. But let's see. Then you give it a little tap and the date changes. I wonder what happens when you're wearing the watch. This is just when we're setting it and trying to test the alignment, but when the watch is actually running and the hand setting isn't engaged, maybe we'll get that date change. It's about 2 minutes after midnight. Which is okay. Not bad. I like to lower the hour hand a little bit. Okay, so let's check out our alignment one more time at midnight. You know, also, I mean, we've gotten away with a lot so far. And the alignment's not bad. Always got to double check. I mean, are you guys going to kill me if I reset that minute hand? I want it perfect, you know? This is like an awesome watch. It's an awesome watch, and I prefer not to settle. Also, that minute hand was a little lower than what I like. But we're going to reset it. I want it right there when that date jumps. Oh my God. It's killing me. That minute hand is killing me. And I'm in danger of scratching the hour hand while I try and lift up that minute hand. Oh, it looks like the cannon pinion lifted. Okay. Sometimes you gotta know when to quit, when to move on. But it does look better. Jeez. What a travesty, huh? Let's get this going. Now what, we're jumping 5 minutes before midnight? Yeah, that's a little too soon. Too soon for me. Pop that hand off. What a monster. Monster project. Jeez. Yeah, perfectionism, huh? It's like a curse. We're gonna change the tip so we don't push that hand too far down again. And that's perfect right there. So let's see how we did, huh? I liked it better when it was worse. But this is pretty good. That is nice. Okay, so we made it a little bit better. Instead of date jumping here, date jumps there. And I'm gonna count my blessings. The division of the hands is better. And I didn't scratch any of the hands below the minute hand. We already broached the dial. It's time to broach that second hand. It's like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. See if we have to let's see if we need to broach this thing. It's second hand, won't even get onto the seconds pinion. I mean, it's a little high. Yeah, let's check it out, huh? Oh, perfect. Right before midnight. This is just, I'm glad we went for it. Glad we went for it. That's great. It's looking really good. Okay. That's pretty nice. So I'm not gonna have to broach the seconds hand so far. Like the division, if the seconds hand ends up touching the crystal, then we'll have to deal with that, cross that bridge when we get there. But look at that, watch. Super cool, and we're making it work. All right, let's test this case to see if this case is waterproof before we move forward with the casing. Okay, let's pressure test this thing. So before we do the pressure test, we gotta close this case back up. And this has like a Rolex style case back. So we're going to put on our attachments here. Going to unscrew the case back. Going to add a little grease to the case back threads. Gotta add the grease so it doesn't seize up if we tighten it too tight and it's not greased. So always good to do that. It's good enough. Unscrew the crown. Check these gaskets out. We have gasket inside the tube and we have a gasket inside the crown. Let's add a little grease to the tube threads. Let's add a little bit more here to the base of the crown. Now let's screw that crown down. Now let's give this watch a good pressure test. Going to install one spring bar. Tighten it down, zoom it in, and this tester, 1 kilogram per square centimeters, is about 33 feet, which is about 1 bar. So let's see if we can get this to like 2 or 3 bars. 3 bars will be about 99 feet of depth. And we'll see if the watch is flooding, you know? So we go, we're about 66 feet. Nothing's cracked. Pressure's getting there. All right, so we got about 100 feet of depth for sure right here. Nothing catastrophic. So we'll remove some of this pressure. We'll unscrew this. And then we'll place this case onto our dryer. Right there. Heat on, dry on, timing on. That fan is actually spinning super fast, but the camera is, you know, a certain amount of frames per second. Makes it look a little funnier, but whatever. We're heating up the case. We're gonna look for any fog. If we're not fogged up, by the time the outside of the case is dry, then we know we're waterproof. Then we can continue with this watch. Great looking watch. Okay, so our timing is almost up. And we can see if this watch, no fog. It's time to case this puppy up. Okay, so I've unscrewed the case back. It's time to inspect. We need to set a stem to size. And then we need to install the bracelet. So first up, sizing the stem. We need to pull this dummy stem out, hit the detent, put the watch in winding position, press on the detent, and the stem comes off. Get our nice case cushion out. Blow off any debris inside and out. Fit this puppy in there. Now these fit pretty tight. You know, of course, when you case a watch, could be debris. So oftentimes you need to take it out a few more times than you like. Now we'll take our crown, we'll screw it onto our stem. Firmly, and we'll see how much room. See how much of this stem we need to cut off, and quite a bit. The stem is way too long. But look at how cool that watch looks, huh? We still have a little debris on the dial. And this camera doesn't do it justice because this is just so nice. Everything lines up. So let's size this stem. Winding position, flip it over. Pop that sucker out. Remove the stem. Now, you know, you could eyeball it a little bit, you know? We'll see. And we gotta file it. Now we'll screw it onto the crown again. And we'll see how we did. We see how and we're not quite there yet. So we got a couple more millimeters to file off. Jeez. Now I hope that wasn't too much, huh? Boom. Tighten that down. Now it looks good. So we're able to screw the crown all the way down until the gaskets compress. Can unscrew it. We have room to plunge. We have quick set for the date, quick set for the 24-hour hand, and hand setting. So that's super sweet. So one last time, we're gonna pull this stem out. We're going to Loctite the stem into the crown. You don't want your crown falling off your stem. Nice and firm. Now we're popping in there, that's safe. I wanted to double check that. And we have some lint on the dial that I'm going to remove. So let's do that. Just like that. That's all I saw. Pull the stem out. blow off any lint. Hopefully this movement, we're dropping it in nice and safe. Now let's add a little bit of grease to the stem. Clean it up first, we've been touching it. So light coating. We can add a little bit more to the base of the crown and where the hex key is on the base of the crown. Let's pop that in. And there we go. Super beautiful Explorer style Seiko mod. Now, I would get a different crown for this actually, because the crown on this from Namoki's, the knurling is just a little bit more substantial. So yeah, that could be an upgrade. Let's put this case back on. And let's actually time this watch out before we do anything further. Let's see how this watch is timing. Could do this first, preliminary. But we didn't. We're doing it last. Oh. So I'm noticing some difficulties with this watch. The seconds hand is touching the bottom of the crystal. It's not even running. So although it looks great, it's not even functioning. Yeah, so we're gonna have to broach that seconds hand, lower it down, even bend it down, or I heard in some of these cases you need like a super dome crystal to give you more space under that dial or under that crystal. It's unfortunate, but looks like we're going 2 steps forward, 1 step back today. So, quick break, and we'll get back to this. And we're back. And here's our watch. Our joy and our pain. Had some errands to run, and I think it was a great idea to take a little break. and come back to this thing. The hand is obviously touching the crystal. So we're pulling the stem out again. We're going to remove the seconds hand. It's touching the crystal. We're going to broach out the post of that hand. And we're going to see if we can't push that bad boy down a little further. So we'll stop the seconds hand by pulling the crown out into the setting position. And yeah, it's a little high. But sometimes it works. This time it didn't. You can only get away with so much for so long, can't you? Lighting's a little different because it's nighttime, but that's why we're working on an Explorer. Because day or night, if you forget or you can't tell, you know whether or not it's AM or PM. When you're doing your cave dwelling, when you're in an unfamiliar place. Let's say you're in Alaska during winter. You don't know. You just don't know if it's AM or PM. You gotta wear your Explorer. Or let's say you're like me. You got 3 jobs. You don't know what time or day of the week it is. And just open up this hand a little bit. Woo! I think this thing can go down a lot further. There's plenty of room to bend the hand downwards as well. Look at that hand, so cool. I love these snowflakes. Okay, I believe I don't want to cross a line here, you know. I just want to get it down good enough. Okay, so that hand is down. A little further for sure. You can still bend it down. I'm going to show you how I do that. Do it just like this. Now that's going to touch. So we'll lift it up a little bit now. Push down. A little further. Okay. So that could be just enough. Or not enough, and we'll try again. I mean, it's still ticking. Seems like the movement's fully seated. Seconds hand moving along. The debris is looking minimal to zero. Now let's turn on that timing machine. See what we got going on here. Maybe we'll give this thing a full wind before we put it on. But that timing looks great, huh? So far, so good. Full wind, 280 amplitude, fantastic. We're about +1 to 0 seconds a day fast. Dial side up. This thing might not need any regulation. you know? I mean, leave it to Seiko to do a phenomenal job. This position's fast, 12 down. Not too bad. We can let it mellow out, let it relax in this position, and the timing gets better. Now in these vertical positions, as long as the amplitude doesn't go below 200, you know you're in a great place. So I don't believe the hand is touching now. 280 dial up, 230s, verticals, plenty of power going through, no obstructions. We're plus 1 second a day fast to 0 seconds a day fast, minus 1 second a day fast. I do like when the watch runs a little fast though. But I'll take this any day of the week. We got a slow position. For me, I might want to speed this up a little bit. But not too much. This timing is great. So this watch overall is looking really good. It's looking like we're about average -1 second a day, full wind. We can see what it does half wind later on in the week after I wear it. And if the watch slows down half wind, I might speed this up a little bit, but this timing is nothing to sneeze at all. But this position is a little slow. So maybe we speed it up slightly. Okay, so remember your hairspring stud is here. So remember your hairspring stud is here. Your regulating pins are there, and when you push the regulating pins, the arm that the regulating pins are on, in that direction, you see that little point goes towards the plus sign here, and that means you're speeding up the watch. But we're just going to give it a little touch, and we're going to use some blunt tweezers Just a little touch. Nothing too much. That's all it takes. All right. Now let's check the timing. Now that's a sweet watch. See, the amplitude's dropping a little bit, which makes me think that that hand could still be touching. Oh, here we go back up. Could just be the mainspring getting settled in. Yeah, second hand probably touching a little bit. I mean, this is a Seiko. This thing could be flying. It could be flying. But we're getting a little bit of a faster reading. Yeah, I don't know. There looks like there's plenty of room under there. I mean, this is good amplitude for... I don't want to overthink it. Definitely push the hand down further. Looks like there's plenty of room. Amplitude in the verticals is good. We're getting a little bit of a faster reading. Definitely on the plus side of the timing in more of the positions. Except for this one. Yeah, I'd still like to speed it up a little bit more. Tick, 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 tick. Now we're going a lot faster. And I barely touched it. So sometimes you don't want to get too crazy about the timing, but I always am. Always like this. You push it over a little too much one way, you push it over a little too much the other way. Eventually you just get the right touch. And that could have been it right there. That could have been the touch we needed. So let's check it out. A little fast. A bit too fast? Probably too fast. Maybe it was better not to touch it. Or maybe I didn't touch it enough. But if I don't touch it, who will? Way too much. Okay, I sure do want this to be it. And we're back. We're pretty much back where we started, so maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we're gonna have something better, huh? Yes. Give me a sign. That line is straight. A little uptick. +2. I would like that 0 +2. Looks like we're gonna have a negative position here. This is probably gonna be a -2 or 3. Still, I don't like it. It's too slow. It's too slow. No, even that position is too slow. We can't do this. We gotta keep going. Casing, timing. Could take an hour for sure. For sure. Just a little touch here. Oh, too much. It's terrible when you know it was too much. Too much again. Okay, well, let's see what this is like, huh? This might be the sweet spot. Because we had some positions -8. I'm going to keep this watch going on the fast side. I'd rather have it a little fast than super accurate, because you really never know how the watch runs until you start wearing it. Because you're constantly moving, and the watch will eventually go into half wind. You'll take it off your wrist. And I mean, this is a good spot. This is a good place to be. And this was one of the slowest positions we were checking before. So we had, yeah, I mean, look at that. We're almost around 5 seconds fast a day in all positions, full wind. Here's a slow position. +2. Yeah, I think it was a good thing, even though it took quite some time to get it regulated. We're about +3 seconds a day when you average all the positions out. +5 tops. Now this position's probably 0, right? I mean, that line is going straight across. So that was good. Watch is regulated nicely. It's looking sweet. Let's put this case back on. Use the die just to get us started here. Now let's go over that case press. Now we know this watch is waterproof. So let's tighten this thing down, huh? Awesome watch. Hands are aligned. Dial is modified. Okay, so let's set this guy. Let's set this watch now. What day is it today? I don't even know what day it is. Sunday, the 19th, I believe. So the date is changing, midnight. Boom. 2 minutes before midnight, just how I like it. Today is the 19th. But it's actually in the evening. And it is 9:20, almost exactly. So we'll set this thing to (9:21). And we'll take our master clock. And when that seconds hand on this watch gets to 12, we'll push down on our crown here. And we'll be timed to the seconds. Boom. So we got it. Our second mod in the Seiko mod series. We got the Dirty Dozen Tudor Pelagos style field watch with the Black Bay style Explorer 2. We got that modified dial. I believe there is some type of AR coating on this crystal. You can see the little blue tint. So let's fit this bracelet on, huh? Put our brooch away. I'm glad that worked out. I would have hated to get a new crystal, but that would have just been another reason to make another video. We got our spring bars, our bracelet, our end pieces. Okay, it's got a little arrow. Tells you how to open up the plastic. That's funny. I'm doing a Seiko mod. Of course I know how to remove some plastic. Yeah, right. Get those spring bars in. Hopefully these end pieces go in without a hitch. Great. I have a feeling this bracelet's going to be too big for me. But we'll find out. And then we'll size it. Little bit of trouble. Oh man. Yeah, super big on me. So look at that. Should probably remove about 3 links. So let me show you how I do that. So I usually like the 6 o'clock side of the bracelet to be shorter than the 12 o'clock side. So when it sits on my wrist, the watch pulls more towards me. So I think we'll remove 2 screws from here, from the 6 o'clock side, and 1 from the 12 o'clock side. Or 2 links. Oh man, this might be a tricky bracelet too. Tricky bracelet because screw slot here and screw slot there. You need like 4 hands to size this bracelet. But this connecting link here is its own thing. And since we're moving 2 on this side, we'll take this one out. See, that is just turning. And this is just turning. So show you what you do when you're in a pinch. You lock in 1 screwdriver here on this side. Another on that side. And now we can see how this bracelet's constructed. So it looks like it's made with 2 screws. We have a female piece and a male piece. Now we'll fit these back together. And you know, we'll probably want to Loctite every link. Every screw. and this bracelet should be Loctite. I would hate to lose this watch, spending a whole day on it. Okay. But you know, when I was taking apart the link, it seems like the screws are pretty good. So we'll do a little bit of Loctite here. Hey man, don't ever let anyone tell you modding is easy, because it's not. So here we are. We're about even on this bracelet. So if we're a little big, I'm still going to be taking one out of here. I don't know. Let's size it right now. Let's see. We got a little slop, wraps all the way around my wrist. But it's coming together. Considering everything we've already done. I think if we removed a link on this side, I don't know what to say. I just really like when the 6 o'clock side is shorter. So this would just be a judgment call. It's super even, but it's loose. So if I removed a link on this side, it would be much shorter than it would be on this side. And the bracelet and the watch would kind of have a pull more over that way. So I'm still going to remove a link from here. And that's okay, because that's just what I prefer personally. But these screws are pretty good. I do like this style of link, and there is a little bit of this debris here, which is a type of Loctite. So there's some firmness when opening up these links. So I believe these links are sturdy. You just need like I mean, I know they make a tool for links, like for screws like this, but can still get away with it. That's gonna look a little funny, but it's gonna work. It's gonna fit me. And it might not look too bad even. But it'll probably wear just great, just how I like, so that's the point. Okay, yeah, not too bad at all. That's not so bad at all. Pretty balanced. Now let's see the fit. Oh man, that's great. Still goes over the knuckle without turning around the wrist. So it's getting late. We've been in the office, in and out. Probably about 5 hours today building this mod. We've modified the dial. We've broached the hands. We've regulated the movement. We've pressure tested the case. We've sized the stem and we've sized the bracelet. So thank you everyone, friends and family, adversaries and enemies. Watch lovers of all kinds. And remember, keep it radical times radical. Good night.